You ever have one of those moments where life feels so good you almost start to relax? Like, maybe, just maybe, the universe is finally letting you catch your breath? Yeah, that was me. Standing on my front porch, sun shining, holding this ridiculously over-the-top red velvet cake that cost more than my first car payment. Just taking in the smell, sugar and butter and cream cheese so thick it ought to be illegal. My 30th birthday. My house. My cake. I'd worked my ass off for all of it, and for the first time in ages, I felt like maybe I'd finally made it. And that's exactly when the dragon came for me. Not a real dragon, of course, but if you ever met the president of my HOA, you'd understand why I called her that. Picture a woman who probably irons her beige pantsuits in her own face before sunrise, marching across her pristine lawn, heels stabbing angry little holes in the earth, already pointing a finger at me like I'd personally offended God. She didn't even bother with pleasantries, just started in about standards and rules and how my cake must be part of some illegal business. You know what I mean? Like, who looks at a birthday cake and sees a crime? I'd only lived here a few weeks. Before that, the only time I'd heard from her was a passive-aggressive note about my non-compliant welcome mat. But now apparently my biggest offense was daring to celebrate another trip around the sun. I tried to keep it cool, managed a tight smile. "Excuse me," I said. "This is my birthday cake. It's my birthday." I even held up the box, like maybe the dragon would sniff the frosting and come to her senses. "Nope." She doubled down. "A likely story," she sneered, and whipped out her phone. "I'm calling the police." She actually did it, called 911, and, with the performance of a lifetime, told the dispatcher I was a suspicious man with a large, unmarked package, probably drugs, maybe a robbery. My jaw hit the floor. There I was, in pressed khakis and a button-down, about to get swatted over a cake. Cops showed up in 5 minutes, and that's when things really went sideways. One was an older guy, looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The other, a younger, sharp-featured woman, didn't even bother hiding the suspicion. The dragon turned on the tears, told them I was aggressive, wouldn't tell her what was in the box, wasn't even supposed to be here. The officer, let's call her Angry, barked at me to put the box down, hands where she could see them. I tried to explain, "It's a cake. It's my birthday." But she wasn't listening. I put the box down as gently as you'd set down a newborn, hands up, heart pounding, humiliation burning a hole in my chest. All because a neighbor decided my existence was a problem. Officer Tired finally spoke, asking the dragon for the real complaint, and that's when she dropped a bomb. "That cake is evidence. But it's also my daughter's birthday this weekend, and since he's caused so much distress, you should confiscate it and give it to me as compensation." She was dead serious. I just stared. Officer Angry nodded, like this was a regular part of police work. "Sir, given the disturbance, turning over the item might be a good way to show remorse and de-escalate." I nearly laughed. Or cried. Maybe both. Remorse for having a birthday? I said the word racist, and the dragon went ballistic. How dare I? It was about community standards, not race. I remembered my phone, told them I was going to record. Officer Angry snapped. "You do not have my permission to record me." But I knew my rights. I hit record, made sure to get everyone's faces. Officer Tired finally found his spine, told everyone to calm down, told the dragon there was no crime, and, for a split second, it looked like sanity might win. But Angry got right in my face and whispered, "We'll be watching you." And that was that. They left. The dragon stormed home, but not before promising me this wasn't over. I stood there for a long time after, phone still recording, adrenaline slowly draining out of me. My 30th birthday. I sat on the porch steps, hands shaking, staring at the cake. This is the tax you pay, I thought, for just existing where someone thinks you don't belong. I called my best friend Jay, told him everything, barely making sense. "I'm on my way," he said. "Don't you dare cut that cake without me." Jay and some friends showed up. We ate cake. We laughed, sort of, but the joy was gone. My new home felt like enemy territory. My cake tasted like defeat. But at least I wasn't alone. 2 days later, a cream-colored envelope showed up. Violations from the HOA. $200 for unapproved commercial activity. The cake. $300 for creating a public nuisance. $500 for failure to comply with lawful orders. A grand total of $1,000 in fines. For having a birthday. Signed, naturally, by the dragon herself. Jay said, "You need a lawyer. But first, show people what happened." I wasn't sure, but he was right. I posted the video, blurred my house number, went to bed with my stomach in knots. The next morning my world exploded. Messages, comments, strangers rallying to my side, calling it Cakegate, sharing their own HOA horror stories. Local news picked it up. I found a property lawyer named Sarah, and when she saw the video, she said, "We're not just fighting the fines. We're fighting her." We started digging into the HOA records, hundreds of pages of contracts and expenses. And then I found it. Prestige Solutions LLC, thousands a month in vague beautification fees, starting right after the dragon became president. Registered agent? Her maiden name. Sarah's voice practically crackled through the phone. This is the smoking gun. Turns out, the dragon had created a shell company, paying herself out of our HOA dues. Embezzlement. That's why she came at me so hard. She saw me as a threat, someone who might look too closely at the books. We built a coalition. Arthur, the gardening old man, Maria from City Records, a few others who'd all been bullied or fined over nothing. Maria pulled property records. The shell company owned a downtown condo. Our dues paid for her secret luxury pad. With evidence piling up, we called a special HOA meeting. The night of the meeting, the clubhouse was packed. Arthur presented the evidence: skyrocketing dues, fake contracts, luxury condo. The dragon tried to shut it down, shrieking lies, forged documents, but no one was listening. Then Sarah brought in 2 county detectives. The dragon turned ghost white. They walked her out in handcuffs. The fallout was massive. The other board member, her cousin, was also arrested for kickbacks. Digging deeper, we found texts between the dragon and Officer Angry. Turns out, she'd been calling in complaints on people she wanted gone, and Angry was her enforcer, in exchange for charitable donations to Angry's husband's police fund. It was a whole racket. Officer Angry was suspended, an internal investigation opened. My little video was now Exhibit A. The dragon was charged with embezzlement. It wasn't just about my cake. It was about how power can rot, and how standing up, even when you're terrified, can start to turn the tide. Arthur became the new HOA president, me as treasurer. We cleaned house, hired accountants, rewrote bylaws, brought people together. For a while, the neighborhood felt like an actual community, not a war zone. The trial came. I took the stand, told the story, played the video. The jury didn't take long, guilty on all counts. The dragon was sentenced to prison, ordered to pay restitution. Officer Angry lost her badge. The money we recovered fixed the playground, cleaned the pool, made our neighborhood better. For the first time, I belonged, not just as a homeowner, but as a part of something real. A year later, same porch, another birthday. Cake from the same bakery, sun shining, Arthur waving from his garden. Peace. Or so I thought. Then a letter arrived. Early parole for the dragon, coming home. My gut dropped. When she returned, she looked broken, older, quieter, apologized, said she was sorry, and her husband, always the polite, quiet guy, promised they just wanted peace. But then the letters started. Not from her, from a high-priced law firm. Technicalities, bylaw violations, threats of lawsuits, one after another. A war of 1,000 paper cuts, all designed to bleed us dry and make us look incompetent. And the husband, always so apologetic, gaslighting us at every turn. One night, as I dug back through records, something clicked. The real mastermind hadn't been the dragon. It was him, the husband, a disgraced investment banker, expert in hiding money and creating shell companies. The dragon had just been the front. He set her up, let her take the fall, protected the fortune, and now he was orchestrating revenge, tearing us down from the inside out. We called another meeting, this time with the evidence laid bare. His name on the original transfers, his web of LLCs, his assets bought with our stolen money. The mask slipped. The dragon, realizing she'd been used, walked out on him for good. He was left exposed, and for the first time, the real enemy was clear. You'd think that would be the end, but honestly, who knows? Justice is a moving target. Sometimes it's a birthday cake. Sometimes it's a spreadsheet. Sometimes it's just not giving up, no matter how many dragons you have to slay. So yeah, that's my story. My neighborhood. My cake. My war. What about you? Where do you draw the line between standing your ground and keeping the peace? Ever gone to battle with a dragon of your own? Drop your thoughts below, and let's talk about what justice really means in a world that loves to hide its monsters in plain sight.